Those of us that want to continue design a life we don't need a break from. You want to continue to grow and learn and become better, have more capacity to handle more in life. There's certain things you got to learn and we got to understand in order to implement them into our lives. Leadership. Leadership. There's two things he talked about. Talked about leadership, he talked about influence. I've often said this before, just being in business. If you've ever been in a sales position, you're in an influential position. If you have the ability to influence someone, you have the ability to sell them, right? And so when people talk themselves out of, oh, I don't like sales. I'm not good at sales, but you're a parent and you've learned how to influence your child to eat their vegetables, or you've learned how to influence your child to do the right things, brush their teeth, all those things. That's a form of influence. Tony Robbins calls it leadership. I may call it sales, right? We call it all different things. But the premise is important, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know how to influence yourself? Before you can go off and influence other people, do you know how to influence yourself? Do you know how to say, this is something I'm not doing. Now I'm going to influence myself to do this thing, and then you actually do it. Before you can go off and lead other people, you got to lead yourself first and you got to be able to influence yourself first. So that's such a huge part to your success, to us getting to the life we don't need a break from. It's you being able to do the hard things and influence yourself to do things even when no one's watching. Your ability to influence yourself to do the right things, even when you don't get a reward, even when no one's clapping and cheering you on, even when it's the practice times. Are you still able to influence yourself? Are you still able to put yourself in a position where you say, I'm going to do this regardless? So that's important. Tony Robbins talked about two things that control like our leadership ability. He talked about our state. So being in state, how often are you in the proper state to be able to get to the life that you want? Sometimes it comes down to just moving your body, your physical state. Tony Robbins says this a bunch. He talks a lot about, our physical state and being in state, which basically says like if you were depressed or having feelings or thoughts of depression or anxiety, probably your body is in a similar state. Your body is slumped over. You might be breathing shallow. You might not be sitting upright, moving your body quickly, and having thoughts of depression and anxiety. You see, the way your body physically moves has to deal with, again, how your mind, the thoughts you're having. So, are you aware of your state? Are you aware of your physical, emotional state on a daily basis? What feelings and emotions are you practicing? And how is that leading to your ability to influence yourself and influence others? So your state is incredibly important. He also put your beliefs. We know this. If you change your thinking, you change your life. So obviously we have some beliefs. We all have them. We all have some beliefs or a blueprint that we're telling ourselves or about the circumstances that causes us to be where we are. I know sometimes we don't want to take that responsibility, but that's just the way it goes. So we got to start to identify what are the beliefs, what are the limiting beliefs, what are the things that we have going on in our mind that's causing us or not allowing us to be able to influence ourselves or influence others. Again, things for you to ponder, things for you to think about. He also talked about your patterns, how our patterns run everything. You have an emotional home, you have emotional patterns. You have patterns of what happens during the week. You know why, guys, I always talk about like, oh, there's no such thing as hump day. And right. We don't have a case of the Mondays. The reason why I break you out of those patterns because those become patterns of society. That every Friday night you feel something to want to go out, to want to spend time, at happy hour or whatever. Like there's certain triggers, like he said, that if we're not aware of these patterns, they just inhabit our life. That on a Monday, you should feel a certain way because it's time to start school or start work or you just had the weekend. So Monday, we're in a little bit different of an emotional home, a mental home, a pattern. Are you aware of your patterns? Are aware and able to identify what things are keeping you exactly where they are. That's important, y'all. And again, we have these conversation a bunch, not to condemn, but to remind us that these are the things that are important, to remind us that if we want to go off and design our ideal life, that we have to do some things differently, that we have to think about some things differently, that you have to practice some additional things that maybe your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, cousins are not actually doing because they're not going after the same life. But for us, for you, for me, we have to start putting these things in place and not just be hearers of this, not just be hearers of the word, be doers of it. How much are we implementing these things every single day? Or are we doing the exact same things that we've been doing for the past 3 months, 6 months, year, 2 years? Hopefully, these things start to break you out of some of those areas. In our text, the 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class says the world class believes in servant leadership. Now, Tony Robbins talked a little bit about leadership, your ability to influence, whether you can influence yourself or whether you're influencing other people, your ability to get someone to a desired outcome is one of the greatest skills in life that you can create. Again, if you're a parent and you've done that job well, you've successfully led your children into becoming adults, whether you're a leader at your job or whether, again, you take personal responsibility for your life and just lead yourself. Just just influence yourself to do the right things. Just influence yourself to change your health. Just influence yourself to get better financially. Just influence yourself to be better relationally. Just learn how to influence yourself and stop allowing the distractions and the other things to take us away from those. But at the end of the day, you got to learn influence. That's the leadership part, the service part. Tony Robbins talked about service, our ability to serve another human being. I'll give you guys a cheat code. I put this on somebody's TikTok. They were asking about it. When you're really, really down on money, when you're really down on how you feel about life, whether you're hitting some depressive states, some anxious states, whether you're down financially, the number one thing you can do to turn it around is go serve somebody. It's sometimes counterintuitive because we're thinking about our problems, we're thinking about ourselves, we're thinking about where we are and what's happening in our lives and what we can do and the plans and all the stuff. But if you're really not in the greatest place, go serve somebody. Go to your local, shelter, go to your local food bank, go take some food to someone that's homeless, go call a couple people in your community that are older that might just need some help, go work at, volunteer at church, go to another nonprofit that needs some help, go clean up the street, like go serve somebody, go physically like say, hey, I'm here to serve whatever you need. It takes it off of you immediately. It takes you away from thinking about your problems, about where you sit, about what's happening in your world, about the problems you have, about the lack of finances you have. It takes it completely away when you go serve someone. That's a cheat code. If you ever have get into a low place, you're in a valley season, try your best to start serving other people. Call them, reach out, go do something, and watch how it changes your state. That's what Tony Robbins talks about. Watch how it changes your state. But either way, here's what it says in the text. 177 Mental Toughness Secrets. It says the world class sees themselves as servants in their personal and professional lives. Just start with that sentence. Is that how you see yourself? If you believe you're world class, you're headed to a place of world class, you're headed to a place of creating a life you don't need a break from. That's you, highest, grandest expression of yourself. This first sentence says the world class sees themselves as servants in their personal and professional life. Do you see yourself as a servant in your professional life and a servant in your personal life? I'll let you think about that one. Whatever their chosen field, the great ones know the essence of success and fulfillment can be found in the service of others. Professional performers understand that amateurs suffer the consequences of living out a fear-based consciousness. Most pros are recovering amateurs who woke up one day and made a decision to change. They empathize with the amateur mindset and do everything they can to lead them to the next level of consciousness. Champions believe the greatest leaders are the greatest servants, and that all of us are here to lend a hand to one another. In order to embrace this mindset and become a conduit for positive change, a person must be operating from spirit as opposed to ego. Champions serve without asking or expecting anything in return. Say that sentence again. Champions serve without asking or expecting anything in return. Of course, in accordance with the law of cause and effect, they are richly rewarded for their efforts. The middle class consciousness is not operating at a level high enough to see this law in action. When we were kids, most of us learned the saying, the more you give, the more you get. Somewhere along the way, many of us have forgotten this piece of ancient wisdom. As a result, amateurs are always seeing how much they can get without having to give. On the other hand, the world class continues to give out of love and activate this law. The law is the same for everyone, yet amateurs don't believe in it. They're afraid they will serve someone without getting anything in return. They're afraid they'll get hurt again. Fear draws them inside themselves and reinforces their amateur behavior. Meanwhile, the world class is humbly serving society and being handsomely rewarded. Servant leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Do you see your personal life and professional life as being of service? What areas are you serving people? How are you influencing yourself and influencing other people? It's important that we understand this is one of the keys, one of the tools to designing a life you don't need a break from. If you're on the call, the reason you're here is because we have things we want to get to, we want to grow to, we want to become more, do more, see more, have more for our families. So there's certain principles that you have to start to operate out of. You can't operate out of the things that society is operating out of. We got to operate out of things from a higher level of consciousness. So, how often are you serving? And if not a lot, this is your wake-up call this Monday, May 12th, to put yourself in a position to be of service. You know, the things that people say, that's why they put it in there. It says the amateurs don't believe it. They're afraid they will serve someone without getting anything in return. They're afraid they'll get hurt again. You know how many people say that when we start having these conversations around service? Oh, I tried and they took advantage of me, right? I tried to help so and so and they never said thank you. And then they went and stabbed me. So I just stopped helping people. You know how many people feel that way? And they stay in this place of not being able to give. Therefore, they don't get. They don't have a heart of service. Their heart got cold at some point. They had something happen to them. They had a trauma. They had someone betray them. They had something major happen where they said, now I'm going to change myself. I'm no longer going to do this side. I'm no longer going to serve. I'm no longer going to go out of my way to make sure that I'm giving more than I'm getting. I'm not going to do that anymore. That burnt me in the past. Maybe that's the same thing blocking your blessings moving forward. Maybe that's the exact same mindset that's causing you to not get to the life that you want because we won't let go of that. You know, you've heard me say it on 1,000 times on these calls, ladies and gentlemen. This process is learning how to unlearn and relearn new information. How do you unlearn certain information? How do you unlearn certain limited beliefs? How do you unlearn certain thought patterns that are no longer serving you? They're no longer helping you build financially. They're no longer helping you in your relationship. They're no longer helping you in your spiritual life. Like they're not helping you anymore. They might have helped you for a season, but now they don't. And are you thinking about, are you conscious of how to unlearn these things that no longer serve you to learn something new to get you to the life that you want to? That's this process. That's why it says this is a law of cause and effect. This is something that's bigger than you. If you learn how to give, you will learn how to receive. This is why they teach us that as children. That's why it says it's more blessed to give than to receive. These are all things we know. We just need reminders of it. How much are we operating in our daily lives as servants, as people that want to serve other people, that you want to be able to provide? This is a form of service for me. You guys don't pay me any money. This is a form of service. This is a form of saying, hey, I have some information and some knowledge. I can help some people down the path. Hey, let's all get together so we can do this. It's a form of service. A lot of what we do in business is a form of service. My question to you, and the thing I want you to ponder on this Monday for this week, is how much is your life of service? How I know you might do things for other people, but is it with the servant heart? Are you doing it expecting something in return? Because like it says here, it says the world class continues to give out of love. Um, where does it say? Somewhere in there, it said something about like yeah, either way. Basically, you're giving without needing to get anything in return. Oh, there it is. It says that no, that was the other side. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. You got to make sure that this is a part of you. That this servant leadership side is helping you get to the life that you don't need a break from. This quote says the measure of a man is that in the number of people who he serves. The measure of a woman is in the number of people she serves. How many people are you serving on a daily basis? And how much are you focused on this in your life? Remember, I told you the cheat code. If you get to any place in your life, any valley season, fears, anxieties, worries, depressions, and you focus on changing your state, focus on changing your emotional state, focus on changing your physical state, literally just moving your body. But the other thing that you can do is go serve somebody. Go think about somebody besides yourself, besides what you're going through. When you call someone, don't talk about your problems. Ask them about theirs and see if you can help them in some way. That is a cheat code for how you break yourself out of any of those states that you don't like to be in. Here's the action step for today, y'all. It says, examine your beliefs about serving others and ask this critical thinking question. What do my habits, actions, and behaviors say about my belief in the law of cause and effect? What do my habits, actions, and behaviors say about my belief in the law of cause and effect? On a scale from 1 to 7, 7 being the highest, how much do you really give to others? How much do you really give to others? How much do you go out of your way? Now, again, we all need some people to pour into us too, right? We all need some people to pour into us. We all need some people that speak life into us. It's hard for you to be the person continuously doing that in the lives of others, but that's what we're here for. That's why you're in a community of people. That's why you guys show up on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning in order to get this information, in order to start to get this into your mind so that you can now go out and be the best version of yourself. We have a lot of people counting on us. You've heard me say this before, y'all. Life doesn't get easier. We get stronger or not. You have a choice. You got a lot of people counting on you. You got a lot of family. You got a lot of people around you that are counting on you to get this information and do something with it. They're looking for you to be a servant leader. They're looking for you to be a leader in your home, in your community, around the people that matter the most. They're looking for you to be able to influence yourself and then be able to influence other people. These are the things that are happening around you. You just got to stay focused. You got to stay aware because it's too crowded down here at the bottom. Dana, it's time to get to the top of this thing. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. If no one ever tells you that, I will always remind you. There's people counting on you. There's people counting on you to get this information. There's people counting on you to become better. There's people counting on you to get better in your finances, in your business, in your relationships, in your spiritual life, in your health. But it takes work. It takes focus and it takes work. More of the same equals more of the same. If you change how you think, you will change your life. If you change your beliefs, if you change how you think about things, your actions, your habits, your behaviors will change because you think differently about it. That's how we get there, ladies and gentlemen. Go out there this Monday, do something that scares you, do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Go out there and be great. Go serve somebody today. Go impact somebody's life today. Go add a good word. Go call someone and tell them that you're grateful for them. Go cheer somebody up. Go do something that serves another human being today and watch how you feel on the back end of that. We'll be back here on Wednesday, y'all. Love you guys. Have a good day.